dear student. This is the second lecture of the series on constitutional law second. In this lecture, we are going to discuss against whom fundamental rights are available or suspension of fundamental rights or amended the fundamental rights. In the last lecture, we have already discussed the basic concept of the fundamental rights, from where we have adopted the fundamental right and what is fundamental right or what is a rights. And also we have already discussed in the previous lecture the historical development of the fundamental rights in India under the Indian Constitution after the enforcement of the Indian Constitution. So in this lecture or today's lecture, we will discuss first of all the classification of the fundamental rights, and the classification of fundamental rights basically based on the citizenship status as an Indian citizen, and the classification of fundamental right based on extent of limitation, negative and positive rights, suspension, amendment or denial of fundamental rights, and the fundamental right basically available against the state, not against the private citizen or private individual. And the last but not the least, these kinds of fundamental right which is included in part 3rd of the Indian Constitution, these fundamental rights are claimed by whom, or you can say who can claim the fundamental rights. So now the fundamental rights are basically have not been declared absolute fundamental right. We all are aware regarding the part 3rd of the Indian Constitution. Part 3rd basically deals regarding the fundamental rights, but these kinds of fundamental rights are not absolute fundamental rights, but they are to be kept in conformity with the changing of socio-economic conditions. Part 3rd of the Indian Constitution contains the fundamental rights, and in this part there are a long list of the fundamental rights. In this part we have 6 fundamental rights basically, or all these kinds of fundamental rights are not absolute according to the Constitution or according to the law, but there is also have power goes to the Parliament to change the fundamental right, but the basic structure of the Constitution cannot be changed by the Parliament. For the purpose of the Constitution confers power on the state, the constituent power, the power of amend and Constitution, including the fundamental right basically. For example, there are some amendment passed by the Parliament, and by that kind of amendment the fundamental rights basically amended with the amendment. The first one is the First Constitutional Amendment Act 1951 enacted by the Parliament. Second Constitutional Amendment is the 42nd Constitutional Amendment 1976, and the 44th Constitutional Amendment 1978 amended the provisions related to the fundamental rights. The concept of fundamental rights we have adopted from the United States of American Constitution, or you can say we have adopted the fundamental right or the chapter of fundamental right under the Indian Constitution from the Bill of Rights of the United States of Constitution. But in United States of Constitution there are like the 7 or 10 amendment deals regarding the fundamental rights. In the original Constitution they have not incorporated as a fundamental right, but under the Indian Constitution we have adopted in the original Constitution, or we have adopted the part 3rd of the Indian Constitution from the very first day of the Constitution, or you can say from 26 January 1950. Now the classification of fundamental rights. Classification of fundamental rights. As such, we know about that the original constitution there were 7 fundamental rights. In the original constitution there were 7 fundamental rights, or you can say at the time of enforcement of the constitution we had 7 fundamental rights in part 3rd of the Indian constitution. But now the fundamental rights which are secured by the Constitution of India are grouped under the following heads, or under you can say 6 fundamental rights. Why? Because right to property is also known was also known as the fundamental right from 26 January 1950. But by 44th amendment, right to property was removed from the list of the fundamental rights. So we can say that now at present there are 6 fundamental rights. Some jurists or some constitutionalists says that now also there are 7 fundamental rights, because by 86th amendment, one fundamental right to education, right to education is also known as the fundamental right. This right is included in the separate article in Article 21 capital A. So somebody says that there are 6 fundamental rights in the present constitution, and some are says that there are 7 fundamental rights after 86th amendment 2002. The list of the fundamental right is known as the first fundamental right is known as right to equality. Right to equality 14 to 18. This is the first fundamental right in the list of the constitution, in the list of part 3rd of the constitution, right to equality. Right to equality basically provides from article 14 to 18 of the Indian constitution. In this article we can say that the part 3rd basically deals regarding the fundamental rights from article 12 to article 35. But the first fundamental right start from Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. The first two, Article 12 or Article 13 is not included in the first fundamental right, or as well as in the list of the fundamental right. Why? Because Article 12 not deal as such regarding the fundamental right of the citizen or as well as of the peoples, because Article 12 basically deals regarding the definition of the state, or Article 12 of the Indian Constitution deals or provides the definition of the state, and Article 13 of the Indian Constitution also not contain any kind of fundamental right for the citizens. That kind of article deals regarding the laws inconsistent or derogation shall be void. So the first fundamental right starts from Article 14 to Article 18. Article 14 deals regarding the right to equality. Article 14 clearly says that there are basically the state shall not deny any person equality before law or the equal protection of the laws within the territory of India. There are two concepts mentioned in Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. First one is equality before law. Equality before law, and second one equal protection of law. So the first concept under Article 14 is equality before law, or the second is equal protection of law. Equality before law we have taken from the English Constitution, and equal protection of law from the United States of American Constitution. Equality before law means we all are equal. There is no discrimination on the basis of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth in the Indian Constitution, and we all are equal in the eye of law. In the eyes of law, we all are equal, from the Prime Minister to the constable. All are equal before the law, because in the eyes of law, or you can say law, are the same for each and everyone. And the second one is we all are basically protected of law on the same thing, or you can say we all are protected according to the law. Even that kind of person is a Prime Minister or President of India or the normal citizen. There is also no discrimination, or there is not a separate law for the Prime Minister or President of India, except Article 361 of the Indian Constitution. Article 361 of the Indian Constitution provides some immunities to the President or the Governor during the tenure of the office. If the President basically hold the office of the President of India, then from the first day or to last day, it means that in 5-year terms they have immune or liberty from the criminal or civil cases, etc. That is exception, or that is provided some immunities or some privilege. But except some exceptions, we all are protected according to the law. If the Prime Minister basically charged in murder case, then they also punish like Indian Penal Code, or like section 302 of the Indian Constitution, or the normal citizen also basically punished according to section 302 of the Indian Constitution. There is also no discrimination like the some persons is a normal citizen, or some kind of is higher officials, basically Prime Minister or President or Governor or judges of the Supreme Court, High Court, or etc. Except the some privileges also. The second fundamental right is right to freedom. Second one is right to freedom. This fundamental right deals from Article 19 to 22 of the Indian Constitution. Right to freedom. Article 19 basically contains 6 freedoms, or provides 6 freedoms to the citizens of the country. Article 19 clause 1 sub clause A, the most important fundamental right to the citizen, we call it deeds regarding freedom of speech and expression. And the citizens of India have the fundamental right to freedom of speech and expression, and they have a right to express his or her views as per the Constitution. But we have already talked about that fundamental rights are not absolute. There are some limitations also provided under Article 19. Limitations also provided on fundamental right under Article 19 clause 2 of the Indian Constitution. These fundamental rights are not absolute rights. There are some limitations which is provided by Article 19 clause 2. we have 6 fundamental rights, but under the some limitations. If any person violates the security of the state, any person violates the sovereignty of state, any person violates the basic structure of the constitution, that kind of person shall not enjoy the absolute fundamental right, because they have, or you can say the person basically violates the constitution of India. Article 20 of the Indian Constitution provides like the some double jeopardy, self-incrimination or ex post facto laws, and Article 21 is the most important fundamental right. Article 21 is the most important fundamental right. Article 21. Article 21, right to life and liberty. Right to life and liberty. Right to life and liberty. Article 19 of the Article 21 of the Indian Constitution provides that no person shall be deprived of his life and personal liberty except according procedure established by law. Procedure established by law. Procedure established by. This is the most important term of Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Means that Article 21 clearly says that no person shall be deprived of his life and personal liberty except according procedure established by law. If any person commits any kind of act, or that kind of act basically established or procedure established only according to procedure established, that person is punished by the authority. Otherwise, if there is no procedure for the law, then you cannot charge on that kind of act which committed by you. So, procedure established by law means all those kinds of procedure like the Constitution Law of India, Indian Penal Code, Criminal Procedure, Evidence, Family Law, etc. If you have violated any kind of provisions in the respective law, only the procedure provided by the law, then you have punished or charged. Otherwise, no authority have a right to punish any kind of person without the procedure of established by law. That means it is the most important or controversial term, because we have discussed these kinds of things in the infra classes, because where we will discuss the fundamental rights or Article 21 specifically, then we have discussed in detail procedure established by law or the due process of law. Now we will discuss only the classification of the fundamental rights. Next fundamental rights is right against exploitation. Right against exploitation. Right against exploitation. Article 23 and 24 of the Indian Constitution deals regarding right against exploitation. Means that there is no authority or not any kind of person basically involved his or her children in the hazardous industry till the age of 14 years. It means that there is also some contradiction of Article 21 or Article 21 capital A or 23 and 24. Article 21 capital A says that every children from the age of 6 to 14 years have a right to education as a fundamental right, because there is no charge or the duty of the parents or the state also to provide the education to the children free of cost from 6 to 14 years. And Article 23 and 24 says that no person shall be involved or no children shall be involved from the age of 14 years in any kind of work except the requirement of the parents or etc. And the next one is you can say the fourth one is right to freedom of religion. Right to freedom of religion. Right to freedom of religion from Article 25 to 28 of the Indian Constitution, or in another word you can say Article 25 to 28 deals regarding the freedom of religion. Every person have a right to believe the faith according to his religion, and no authority, no person shall be compelled to any kind of person to follow the Hindu religion or like the Muslim or Christian or etc. They have free to follow the religion according to the choice, or you can say the citizens of the Indian according to the Constitution have a right to freedom of religion. It means that every citizen of India have a right to follow the religion of his or her choice. Nobody can compel to the person to follow the particular religion in India. If any authority or person compel or force to the person to follow these kinds of particular religion, it means it is the violation of Article 25 to 28, or it is the violation of right to freedom of religion. And the next one is fifth is right to educational and cultural rights. Right to educational and cultural. Educational and cultural. Cultural and educational rights deals from Article 29 and 23. Article 29 and 23 basically provides some educational rights on the basis of culture, on the basis of the minorities. It means that under the Indian Constitution there is also, or you can say we have living in the highest democracy, and India is known as the multi-religious country or multicultural country. So Article 29 or 30 of the Indian Constitution provides a fundamental right like the cultural or like the educational rights, and we all have, it means that we all means the citizens of India have a fundamental right to educate or to get the education according to his choice, because that is a fundamental right deals under Article 29 and 30 of the Indian Constitution. Last but not the least, or the last one is the most important fundamental rights. The sixth fundamental right is a right to constitutional remedies. Right to constitutional remedies. Right to constitutional remedies. According to B.R. Ambedkar, Article 32 is the most important fundamental rights in the list of Part 3 of the Indian Constitution, because he says that, or you can say we also aware that Article 32 also provides the enforcement of the fundamental rights or remedies of the violation of fundamental rights, and Article 32 32 itself a fundamental right. So Dr. Ambedkar also says that Article 32, or you can say except Article 32, there is no importance of Part 3rd of the Indian Constitution. If there is Article 32, then the fundamental right is the most important part of the Constitution. If you have, or you can say any authority removed or repealed Article 32 of the Indian Constitution, so the Part 3rd basically have no means in the Constitution, or there is no importance of Part 3rd except Article 32 of the Indian Constitution, because Article 32 is itself a fundamental right, or as well as provides the enforcement of the fundamental rights. Next is classification. Next is classification of fundamental right based on citizenship. Based on citizenship. Citizenship, status as an Indian citizen. Status as an Indian citizen. Classification of fundamental rights based on citizenship, status as an Indian citizenship. It is also divided into, or you can say it is further divided into two types. First one is fundamental rights that are guaranteed only to the citizens or provided only to the citizens of the country, and second one is some fundamental rights are available to all peoples in India, whether citizen or as well as non-citizens. So first of all, we will discuss the fundamental rights are only or enjoyed only to the citizens of India. The first one is Article 15 of the Indian Constitution. Article 15 of the Indian Constitution says that, or provides that, protection for discrimination on the ground of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, etc. It means that there is no discrimination on the basis of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth. We all are equal according to Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. If there is a discrimination on the basis of color, there is a discrimination on the basis of religion, whether he is a Muslim or Hindu or etc. If there is a discrimination by any authority, it means it is the violation of Article 14 of the Indian Constitution, or as well as Article 15 of the Indian Constitution. And Article 16 also provide only to the citizen, not to the non-citizen. Article 16 provides that, or talks about that, equality of opportunity in matters of public employment. It means that there is a reservation except, or you can say apart from the reservation, because this is also the provisions of the Constitution. Apart from that, we all are, or you can say the citizen also have equal opportunity in matters of the public employment. And the next one is freedom of speech, assembly, association, movement, residence and profession, etc. Article 19 of the Indian Constitution provides these kinds of freedoms, and these kinds of freedoms only protect to the citizens of India, not for the non-citizens. And the last one is the cultural and educational rights of minorities, Article 30 of the Indian Constitution. It is also protect only to the citizen, not to the foreigner or as well as the non-citizens. The second is some fundamental rights are available to all peoples. All peoples means the citizen, whether that kind of people is a citizen of India or as well as non-citizen of India. It means Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. Article 14 of the Indian Constitution protect to the citizen or as well as non-citizen of India, because the language of Article 14 of the Indian Constitution is that the state shall not deny any person equality before law, or any person means whether that kind of person, or you can say in Article 14 the word person interpreted by the judiciary and says that the person includes the citizen or as well as non-citizen. It means that Article 14 is applicable or available to both citizen as well as non-citizen. Second is Article 20 of the Indian Constitution. Article 20 of the Indian Constitution says that protection in respect of conviction against ex post facto law, double jeopardy and self-incrimination. Article 20 divided into three parts. First one is ex post facto law, means Article 20 clause 1 deals regarding ex post facto law. Article 20 clause 2 talks about the double jeopardy or double punishment, or third one is Article 20 clause 3 talks about the self-incrimination. These three subdivisions of Article 20 protect the citizen or as well as non-citizens, means no person shall be punished twice and no person shall be a witness against himself, and no law basically applicable to the ex post facto law. If the previous law after the enforcement of the constitution contravene to each other, then that kind of law shall be void or declared shall be void by the Supreme Court or as well as by the High Court. The third one is protection of life and personal liberty against action without authority of law. We have already talked about the procedure established by law. It means here the authority of law means the procedure established by law. This kind of protection provides by Article 21 of the Indian Constitution and says that no person shall be deprived of his life and personal liberty except according to procedure established by law. Means no person. The word person in Article 21 also deals or you can say talks about the citizen or as well as non-citizen. It means that if there is the violation of right to life and liberty by any authority to the citizen or as well as non-citizen, then both have protected according to Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. And the third one is, the fourth one is right against exploitation, Article 23. Article 23 also available to the citizen or as well as non-citizen. Whether the children is a foreigner or the children is a citizen of India is protected according to the exploitation, protected according to Article 23 of the Indian Constitution. And the next one is freedom of religion. Freedom of religion also available for the citizen or as well as non-citizen according to Article 25 of the Indian Constitution. Article 25 protect whether the person is a citizen or whether the person is a non-citizen, because they have followed the religion of his choice. There are number of foreigners in Delhi or in the Mumbai, Hyderabad, etc. Then you have not forced or compelled to that kind of foreigners to follow a particular religion, to follow a Indian culture or etc. That kind of article is also available for both. And next one is freedom for the payment of taxes for promotion of any particular religion. Article 27 is also applicable or available for the citizen or as well as non-citizen. The last but not the least, Article 28 also you can say also available for the citizen or for the foreigner also. It deals or you can say Article 28 talks about freedom to attend any religious program or worship and study in state educational institutions. It means every person, whether he is a citizen or non-citizen, have right to take or take the admission in the educational institution, state educational institution, and they have also follow to any kind of particular religion according to his or her choice. Nobody can force or nobody can compel to the person whether he is a citizen or non-citizen to follow a particular religion or to religious worship, etc. Next is classification of fundamental right based on extent of limitation. Classification of fundamental right based on extent of limitation. Classification of fundamental rights based on extent of limitation. Classification can also be made from the standpoint of the extent of limitation imposed by the different fundamental rights upon the legislative power, because there are some limitations or that kind of limitations also extend by the authority according to the requirement. If there is a need to extend the limitation, then the power of the parliament or the parliament have power to extend these kinds of limitations or that kind of you can say different fundamental right upon the legislative power. On the one hand, we have some fundamental rights such as under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, because Article 21 have a long list of the fundamental rights. These kinds of fundamental rights not specifically mentioned in Part 3 of the Indian Constitution but covered by Article 21, which are addressed against the executive but impose no limitation upon the legislative at all. In another word, you can say that Article 20 basically impose some limitations only for the executive but not provide or not impose the limitations on the legislative power at all. On the other hand, some rights are intended as absolute limitation upon the legislative power, such as Article 15, 17, 18, 20, 24. These kinds of rights basically impose the limitations or absolute limitations upon the legislative power. Article 19 or you can say in between are the rights given in Article 19, because Article 19 deals regarding the or you can say talks about the 6 freedoms of the citizen, or you can say only for the citizen upon which reasonable restrictions may be imposed by the legislature in public interest. Article 19 is not the absolute rights. There are also some limitations provided by Article 19 clause 2, or you can say these kinds of limitations imposed by the legislature only for the public interest. If there is a limitation imposed by the authority, or you can say reasonable restrictions imposed by the legislature, that kind of limitation only imposed for the public interest. And next one is negative and positive right. Negative and positive right. Some of the fundamental rights in Part 3 are the negatively or negative right as prohibited to the state. For example, Article 14. Article 14 says that state shall not deny. It means that there is a word not deny to any person. It means that kind of fundamental right talks about the negative fundamental rights. Article 21 of the Indian Constitution also start no person shall be deprived. It means no person shall be deprived of his life and personal liberty, means that kind of fundamental rights also negative fundamental right. But some are talks about the positive fundamental right. The state you can say there are other which positively confer some benefits upon the individual. For example, a right to religious freedom and the cultural and educational rights. Next is the most important suspension of fundamental rights. Whether the fundamental rights can be suspended anytime or that kind of fundamental right is absolute right. We already talked about that the fundamental right is absolute, not the absolute right. There are some limitations. So suspension of fundamental right, suspension of fundamental rights or amendment of fundamental right, suspension and amendment of fundamental rights. The rights contained in Part 3 of the Indian Constitution earlier are not absolute. In the larger interest of the society, these rights can be curtailed or suspended in the following cases. The first one is under Article 33. Article 33 of the Indian Constitution says that Parliament may by law restrict or abrogate any of the fundamental rights in their application to the members of armed forces or as well as maintenance of public order, etc. And Article 34 also talks about, Article 34 talks about that authorities, it means that Parliament to make law and to provide immunity in respect of acts done by person during the operation of martial law in the country. And the most important thing is that fundamental right which has been guaranteed under Part 3 of the Indian Constitution can be suspended during the national emergency. National emergency. Article 358 of the Indian Constitution provides that while a proclamation of emergency issued under Article 352, it means the national emergency, is in operation, the rights contained under Article 19 automatically suspended. Or in another word, you can say during the national emergency or national emergency imposed as per Article 352, then Article 19 automatically suspended. During the operation of such proclamation, the President may by order suspend the remedy for the enforcement of any of the fundamental rights except Article 20 and 21. Except Article 20 and 21 of the Indian Constitution, except both rights, Article 20 or 21, all are suspended during the national emergency. But the situation prior the 44th Amendment was different, or after the amendment is different. So we will discuss in brief amendment of 44th Constitutional 1978. The 44th Constitutional Amendment Act changes the various provisions related to the suspension of fundamental rights. Means that before the 44th Constitutional Amendment, Article 352 says national emergency can be imposed on the basis of internal disturbance, war or external aggression. After the 44th Constitutional Amendment, the word internal disturbance has been changed with the word of armed rebellion. Prior 44th Constitutional Amendment Act, President can suspend any fundamental rights during the national emergency, but it means that prior 44th Amendment or before 44th Amendment, the President have power to suspend all the fundamental rights during the national emergency. But after 44th Amendment or 44th Constitutional Amendment 1978, Article 20 and 21 cannot be suspended even during the national emergency. 44th Constitutional Amendment says that Article 19 will be suspended during national emergency under Article 352 of the Indian Constitution if national emergency is imposed on the basis of war or external aggression. Fundamental rights are available against the state. According to philosophy behind the fundamental rights, they are available only against the state, for they are limitations upon the power of the government, legislative or as well as the executive body. It is against the strength of the state. that an individual needs constitutional protection. Private action is sufficiently protected against the ordinary law of the land. There are some judicial pronouncements also on that kind of point. First is P.D. Samdasani versus State of Central Bank of India, AIR 1952 Supreme Court, and the second one is People's Union for Democratic Rights versus Union of India, AIR 1982 of the Supreme Court. Article 21 was not directly involved basically regarding the regarding the rights available against the state, but it says that the court referred it and held that Article 31 Clause 1 was a declaration of the fundamental rights of private property in the same negative form in which Article 21 declared the fundamental right to life and liberty. Next, who can claim the fundamental rights? Any person who is neighbor of you or is a citizen of India or as well as non-citizen of India, he too can claim the fundamental rights under the Indian Constitution according to the provisions of the Constitution. All the people of your city, state and India can claim fundamental rights if they have citizen of India or as well as the non-citizen. Basically, general rule is that only the citizen of India can claim the fundamental right, but some parts of the Part 3 protect the citizen or as well as non-citizen, means the Article 14 and 21 of the Indian Constitution. This is the basically brief discussion on the basis of or on the topic of against whom the fundamental rights available, for who can claim the fundamental rights, or classification of fundamental right, or as well as the suspension amendment of the fundamental right. So thank you, student.